Hey VC, welcome back. This is Hub Tunes. I am Mike. Another video, another concert review. This is actually, I went to the show a few weeks ago and I'm just getting around to making the video. I went to see the hottest thing in modern jazz right now, in my opinion, is Makaya McCraven. He is a absolutely terrific jazz drummer. He refers to himself as a beat scientist. He surrounds himself with some of the best young, up-and-coming, hottest jazz musicians. He just surrounds himself with some of the greatest people. Every time I've seen him, this might be my fifth or sixth time seeing him in various weird different venues. I've seen him in jazz clubs. I saw him at the Jazz Showcase here in Chicago. I've seen him in beer bars. I've seen him in rock clubs. Seen him in street festivals. We're very lucky. He is, I believe, from Chicago and kind of bases himself out of Chicago. He records for Blue Note and International Anthem. He has a new album coming out in a couple of months. I think it's early September. Super excited for that. I did just go see him. It was probably like December of last year. I also did a concert review of that show, which was completely different. It was a completely different show. A couple of the same band members. He usually carries like the same guitarist. His name's Matt Gold. He's absolutely terrific. He's usually in the band. And he has a trumpet player, I forget his name. He's usually in the band. But sometimes he has a harp player with him, Brandy Younger, who is absolutely phenomenal. If you ever get a chance to check out some of her records on International Anthem also. Jonas Paul is his bassist. He usually is a kind of a mainstay in the band also. So absolutely top notch. If you guys get a chance, if you're a jazz fan and you like jazz, just go see this guy. He is absolutely phenomenal. So I got to see him at a place called Lincoln Hall here in Chicago. It's a pretty cool place. It's one of my favorite places to see a show. It's only holds, I think, 1,000 people at the most. I think I read 1,000. It has a main floor, general admission. There is a balcony. It maybe holds 200 at the most. It's very, very small, and it just has stools that go around the top, and that's it. There's nothing else. You can't really look down unless you're right on the railing, and it's taken up by stools which sit along the railing there. So there's not a lot of seating upstairs, but they have a great bar upstairs. They have a great bar. They serve great drinks, and it's a really cool place. This is a book I actually have. It's called 30 and 10. Lincoln Hall is owned by the same conglomerate group that owns a place called Shuba's here in Chicago. Another great venue. Shuba's, I think, only holds 200 people. It is very, very small. I've seen quite a few bands there. The best ones, I saw John Grant there it's probably been about 6 or 7 years now, but I saw John Grant there. He was unbelievable. And then one night I was getting off the train. This is years and years and years ago. This is probably 20 years ago. I was getting off the train after work, and some guy walked up to me and handed me a ticket and said, Jackson Brown's going to be at Shuba's in 2 hours. You should be there. And he just gave me a ticket. So I got to see Jackson Brown in a club. Maybe 200 people at the most this place holds. And it was a great night. He did about an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half at the most. He was doing a pre-show before he played, I think he was playing the Vic Theater. But he stopped at Shuba's and did a absolutely fantastic set, all acoustic, just him. Back when Jackson Brown was cool. I don't know. I bet 25 years ago. But this is a great book. It's called 30 and 10. 30 because Shuba's has been there 30 years, and Lincoln Hall has been around now for 10 years. Lincoln Hall used to be the 3-penny movie theater, and it was a great theater. Very old, but they reconfigured it and changed it all around. But this is a terrific book. This is the front of Shuba's. Shuba's is just like a small, really small club. with like a bar in the front and then just the tiny room in the back. But it's a great book. It tells the history of both clubs. It has great photos of bands that have been played at all the different clubs, at both clubs. And then it has, this is a terrific book. I love this book. I haven't really looked at this for a while. But great, just great concert photos. And then there's also a section, I want to find it. Oh, it's got a section of all their concert posters. So in Lincoln, actually in both places, they have all the posters on the walls in the hallways and stuff, and it's really cool. But the book has almost all of the posters, at least the really cool ones. But anyway, I don't know why I'm showing this. Just a cool book. I really love this, and I hadn't looked at it for quite some time. But a lot of cool bands have played at these places, and it's really neat. Really, really cool. Back to, what were we doing? Makaya McCraven. Great. So the venue is more of a rock club. It's general admission. There's no table service or seating. So this conglomeration this band that he has this show was a lot more rock, a little bit heavier, a lot more upbeat. The show I saw recently back in December at the Jazz Showcase, he had the harp player, and it was more spacey and just kind of out there, and it was really cool. But this was fun too. It was a totally different experience, totally different atmosphere, totally different vibe. So Makaya McCraven, I told you he's a jazz drummer. This is the album that I first got turned on to him. I walked into my record store up in Evanston, Illinois, and the owner said, "Hey, have you heard this? You definitely need to try it." So I took it. On the International Anthem label, this is called Universal Beings, Makaya McCraven. I had complete blind buy. I had no idea what this was. Great artwork. The artwork is absolutely cool. What it is an album. Side one is from, well, let me see if I get it right. What he did was he went to 4 cities and jammed in the studio with his friends from those 4 cities. So side A is Chicago. He had his Chicago friends. Side B is New York, and he had his local people from New York. Then he went to London and did the same thing in the studio, recorded live. And it was all just kind of impromptu. There were no songs, nothing kind of written down. They just jammed. And then Los Angeles is side 4. I thought it's really, really cool. I mean, I could list some of the artists that sit in with him. We got Jeff Parker from Tortoise, Jonas Paul, who I just mentioned, Joel Ross, the great Joel Ross is on here. Brandy Younger, who I mentioned also playing the harp. I believe she's on the Chicago side because she is a Chicagoan. But this, absolutely cool. I mean, not your typical jazz album. This is not a hard bop. It's not, bop or anything like that. It's not fusion. It's very, I don't know, modern, but it's got that jazz feel throughout the whole thing. It's really, really cool. And I just fell in love with this record when I first heard it. And then he released, that's sides A, B, C, and D. And then he released this, which is sides E and F. Again, the same vein of thing. I don't know what cities he did. It might be, I don't remember what cities this one is. I could read this if I had my glasses, but so mostly the same musicians, but really cool. Another just really interesting music, something you really just need to sit down and have a glass of wine and just drink and listen to, like on headphones. It's very, very cool. He is touring again with this album, which is on Blue Note. This is Deciphering the Message. These are his take on some Blue Note songs. He has on this one Joel Ross, Jonas Paul again, Deshaun Jones, Mark Kehill, Jeff Parker again, Matt Gold, who I told you, on guitar, and Greg Ward. This is pretty much, with the exception of Jeff Parker, and Joel Ross, this is the lineup that I saw him with at Lincoln Hall. really interesting record, like I said, on Blue Note. His new album coming out, I believe, is on International Anthem. I don't know why this popped up on Blue Note just in the middle, because he's usually on International Anthem. But really, really interesting record. Cool stuff. And then this is an album that I have of his. I really like this record. Makaya McCraven. This is In the Moment, also on International Anthem. This is with Marquis Hill, Jonas Paul again, Jeff Parker, Joshua Abrams, Deshaun Jones, and Tony Barba. I was not familiar with Tony Barba, but this is a really cool record too. This is more straightforward jazz, more hard bop. Great record. I forget what year this came out. Not too long ago. And that's it as far as the records I have of his. He does have about 3 or 4 other releases that I do not have. They're not out on vinyl, and hopefully they get a pressing at some point. His first record is not out on vinyl or CD. He does have a record called, and this is my favorite record of his. It's not a record. It's a favorite album of his. Is called Split Decision, and I think it's his third album. It's his third or second release, and oh my God, this record is phenomenal. The piano player on, I forget the guy's name. He's absolutely unreal. Just some of the greatest piano playing I've ever heard, and he just backs it up with this cool drum sound. Just a great drummer. But hopefully Split Decision gets some pub and gets released, because it needs to be on vinyl, or at least on CD. I can't find it anywhere. So yeah, check out Split Decision. That's my favorite Makaya McCraven. But if you're really getting adventurous, I would definitely go with Universal Beings. Stunning record. So that's it. It was a great show. It was about an hour. It was almost 2 hours long, and really cool, and great venue. One of my favorites in Chicago. So you guys stay safe and take care, and I will see you soon. Bye.